test, facing off at a 77% success rate. Tyler Dunn, he has come on as of late, won better than 50% of his draws against Utah. We are underway, and Dunn, right off the bat, wins the clamp, and Alex Mazzone picks up the loose ground ball. And Hopkins, tremendous job by Tyler Dunn to get the first possession of the game for the Blue Jays.
Off the lost face-off, St. Joe's rolls upfield in a 10-man ride.
Mazzone gets underneath. This is Russell Melendez calming things down for Johns Hopkins. This is a Blue Jays attack that welcomes back Garrett Degnan, but Jacob Angelis banged up this week. He is not starting. We have been told we will see him probably early, but he is not starting. Starting unit for Hopkins this week, Melendez, Krampf, Degnan on attack. Brendan Grimes back in the midfield for Johns Hopkins. There is Matt Cullison. He has a short stick on him. Dylan Bauer rounds out the first midfield unit for the Blue Jays. Coming up on 20 seconds left to shoot. Melendez wheels away from the defensive pressure of St. Joe's, up to Garrett Degnan. Cullison draws a double, feed back, it's Degnan, can't get a shot off. Under 10 to shoot for the Blue Jays. 5 seconds. Cullison looks confused, whips it across the field, gets tipped out of bounds, possession to St. Joe's. Shot clock violation to start for the Johns Hopkins offense.
Terrific start for the Hawks on defense. You'll see them play man and zone D today. If I were defending this Hopkins group with Ian Krampf in the lineup, I would be double polling the midfield. You got to get a poll on 16.
Turnover to St. Joe's. Takeaway. Here comes Hopkins. No numbers. Good job by St. Joe's to get in the hole, but how tough is that? St. Joe's just plays a minute's worth, or really a minute 20's worth of defense, and then they turn it over right away and they're back.
St. Joe's not accustomed to playing a lot of D. Why? Well, because Zach Cole wins 77% of the faceoffs. Last week they beat Providence 19-6 in that game. They were down 3-0 early. They went on a 19-3 run.
Peshko with the hammer on the run. Jonathan Peshko delivers the heat past starting goaltender Scott McMillan for St. Joe's, and the turnover leads to the first score of the game for the Blue Jays.
The band gets to belt it out early. Hopkins second midfield today. Peshko will catch this center top and just beats his man down the right alley, and the defense is a little slow to support. Here it is, little head and shoulder fake, a right-to-right move, and he zings this ball past the lefty, Scott McMillan, the grad transfer from Gettysburg. If there is an Achilles heel to the St. Joe D, it's been between the pipes this season.
Yeah, an interesting story there. Scott McMillan is the graduate transfer from Gettysburg, recommended by their coach, Peter Toner. As a shot for Hopkins, there's a save by Tim Marseille. Marseille back in the lineup for the Blue Jays, but McMillan was recommended from Peter Toner. They started recruiting him. He told Taylor Ray he was going to hit the portal, and they didn't know Robbie Seeley was going to emerge last year. He was the tournament MVP of the Northeast Conference, won the job last year, but Taylor Ray telling us it's been a battle back and forth, and McMillan right now is the starter, but they're not afraid to use both if the situation warrants that.
Seeley against Towson made 2 saves and gave up 9 goals. They had to go to McMillan in relief, where he made 5 saves and gave up 4 goals. So they're still looking for some consistency between the pipes.
McMillan coming into today, 52% save percentage. That was Matt Cullison on that big boy dodge, stepped into the shot, sailed just wide.
St. Joe may be going, they changed up their D off this invert.
Packing it in are the Hawks.
Zone here.
It's the St. Joe's D, led by Patrick Clemens, number 45. 2-time first-team All-Northeast Conference selection. Of course, that's the road conference. St. Joe's now in the Atlantic 10. Hopkins looking to crack this zone. 20 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays. This is Jacob Angelis, so he's in the game early after not starting. Step in, shot, and a goal. McMillan didn't react. Looked like it may have deflected or he may have been screened but it's Dylan Bauer with the overhand high-to-low offering, and Hopkins is off quick, 2-0.
Nice little crowd here in North Baltimore, and you knew the Jays would bring their best effort to the table today. Okay, they've had a rigorous non-conference schedule. They get a week to prepare for this game. They've got all sorts of players back healthy, and the zone offense to perfection. A little interference running in front of McMillan. I'm not sure he ever saw it out of the cross, but a well-designed play for about an 11-yard step down, and Bauer finds the corner. Keep it simple. Overhand release to a low corner location. What did Coach Milliman tell us on the phone this week? Ian Cramp in the lineup last week. Well, he did just be fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
It's hard for the coach not to play it when you are.
First 3 times he touches the ball, 3 goals. 1 to win the crowd.
If St. Joe's doesn't win faceoffs to the tune of 65%, this game will get out of control.
Degnan with the rip, went wide, and good backup by the St. Joe's defense. Hopkins has scored 2 goals in 1:24. Degnan with that rip, and the run out by the Hawks. Smart play, they win possession.
St. Joe's 3-0. They beat Sacred Heart 17-5. I watched them beat Towson 16-13. That was a game that could have gone either way. And then last week they beat Providence 19-6. Keep in mind, Providence doesn't have a Fogo right now. They basically faced off a long pole. He didn't even challenge for the clamp. Cole went, 24 of 24.
With 22 ground balls.
Poor Bob Benson. They never had the ball.
They have it now.
But I haven't seen St. Joe's. This is a step up for them, and they'll have to play better on defense based on what I've seen on tape.
No question. They're 3-0, but those wins are against Sacred Heart, Towson, and Providence. Taylor Ray telling us this week, we haven't played a full 60 minutes, and we're going to need that today against a team like Hopkins. Wild pass up top. This is Tucker Brown, honorable mention All-American last year, 6'2", graduate student with the hitch, gets to the center field and delivers a rocket over the left shoulder of Tim Marcio. Tucker Brown bringing the heat.
That'll settle things down on the Hawks sideline. It's a guy who scored 43 goals last season from the midfield. He had a hat trick against Towson. Blue Jays just overplay that ground ball. They're late on a sub. Another hitch and go to his left hand, and I love this placement. Watch it again here. Sells it with the fake. Boom, another fake. Little hockey stop. Works to his strong left hand. Originally attended Furman. Transfers to St. Joe's. Guys from the beach down in Delaware. It's where he grew up, Rehoboth Beach.
Worcester Prep down on the eastern shore of Maryland. St. Joe's wins the ensuing face-off. Good stick check right there by Tyler Dunn. Good ground ball pickup, however, by the Hawks. D-twigging at Homewood Field. Hopkins and St. Joe's battling for this ground ball. Picked up eventually by the Blue Jays. And a flag is down. Alex Mazzone clears it. Hopkins is underneath. Brett Martin leading the break. Pass to Melendez. Melendez gets double teamed. Pulls it out. Blue Jays with a flag down. Slow whistle situation. This could be a make it, take it, potentially, for this Johns Hopkins offense.
Spirited ground ball plays. Fun to watch.
St. Joe's comes into this game ranked 12th in the country. A lot of people feel like they are a sleeper team, even though they've had the success, but still they don't get the respect of some of the more entrenched programs.
Well, they'll earn respect today. They still have to play Penn on March 8th and Drexel next week, and they got to match up with Duke later in March as well. So they've ramped up the non-conference schedule.
No doubt. Feet inside. Degnan. Shot hits the turf, picked up by St. Joe's, and we are going to have our first penalty of this ball game. It's an unnecessary roughness call against the Hawks. Hopkins will be man up for up to 1 minute.
Blue Jays extra man was anemic until last weekend's game against Utah. Offensive coordinator John Crawley changing things up. Here's the foul.
Right
just
there.
A late high hit.
Little shoulder.
Jack Hawley doing a nice job on the face-off wings. He's the Blue Jays' probably best natural ground ball player, and he pays the price with that late high hit. I think it was Levi Anderson.
Levi Anderson, number 8, is in the box for St. Joe's.
windy, left to right today, the wind, and severe wind can impact communication and long passes. Otherwise, it's really not a factor, unless that is you have loose papers up in a press box.
Something just hit me right upside the head. Degnan with the rip off the feed from Brendan Grimes. Welcome back, 4-0. He gets the extra man tally. Hopkins is back up by a pair.
Garrett Degnan, the grad student from DeMatha, really long. His release is not the fastest in the book because it's so long, but with it, that torque and the twisting of his hips and the big muscles, and then he follows through. Man, he's a dangerous wing shooter. 32 goals last season. Captain of this Blue Jay team, decided to come back for a 5th year.
Degnan, 18 straight games now with a goal. And Scott McMillan, the goaltender for St. Joe's, has yet to make a save. He's faced 6 shots. 3 have been wide. 3 have found the back of the cage.
Well, right now, Christmas is coming early here in Homewood Field. He's getting lit up.
Second midfield on for Johns Hopkins, Cam Chevette. Working against the short stick defense of Michael Gahan. Looks like St. Joe's back in that zone. Chevette looking to go underneath. Good slide by the St. Joe's defense. Levi Virch applying the pressure. Angelis behind the cage. Shot goes wide. St. Joe's has a good angle, and they run it out again. Second time we've seen St. Joe's run the shot out to earn a possession. Heady play. And that is number 18, Matt Popek, that ran it to the sideline, along with Andrew Chilson. So heady play by the St. Joe's Hawks.
One of the keys for Hopkins, because of their motion offense, their positionless offense, at times on turnovers, they get offensive personnel either caught on the field or caught through the substitution box. Good job on that turnover. The Blue Jays get in with their optimal defensive personnel.
Ryan Duran, William King, and Stephen Dwyer, second midfield unit on now for St. Joe's. This is King, junior out of Columbia, South Carolina. Hopkins does a nice job recovering. Hunter Juronsky makes it a draw on the substitution game. It's a big body. Graduate student, Wagner transfer. Dwyer with the shot and score. 6'4". Stephen Dwyer gets leverage, gets inside, sends it far post. St. Joe's back to within 1.
You're driving on the Beltway. You're stuck in traffic. There's a big truck in front of you. What does it say? Beware, wide load. Stephen Dwyer is a wide load. Team is basically back this year.
Big expectations on Hawk Hill. Next face-off.
They got to go. Hawk Hill is a cool spot for a game, especially in April and early May when the weather changes. They have a good following in West Philly.
And they play like a Philly team. Hard-nosed, gritty, tough. Shot from the top of the box. Marcia with the save.
They faked the sub, Dixie. They faked the sub, and Hopkins bid it. And the white jerseys came off the field, and the black jerseys, the defenders of St. Joe, says, hey, we're still out here. We're playing O.
You look at their long stick middies. Not a lot of scoring, but they're very active. They'll stay on the field.
They want to push it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think about Hopkins last week playing Utah. Utah's got the same mentality. You know, they want to stay on the field and create an early offense. So the things you add to your defensive arsenal preparing for Utah carries over to St. Joe's.
St. Joe's shooting 2 out of 4 right now. Hopkins 3 out of 7.
Yeah, tough day to be a goalie right now so far. Neither guy looks locked in. St. Joe's got to figure out, are they playing man or are they going to play zone, and what's going to work?
Degnan with a short stick matchup. Gets it over to Angelis. To Melendez. 56 is Joe Burnham on defense for St. Joe's. Bauer draws a double. Coach Ray telling us this week that his St. Joe's defense is a sum of its total parts. Some is greater than the parts. They play good team defense right there, create the turnover, and they'll look to clear. Sloppy is St. Joe's. Scott Smith creating havoc. 4-on-4 break for the Jays. Smith pulls it out. Looking for a trailer, Brendan Grimes, with good hustle.
The word sloppy, it was used by St. Joe's coach Taylor Ray in our discussions with him on Friday morning. Providence, yeah, I know they won. They scored a lot of goals, but they were really sloppy at times too.
Yes.
So they can play better. When is that going to click? I don't know. When is that going to get ignited? I don't know. But it hasn't been clean so far for the Hawks.
Yeah, as he told us, they haven't played 60 minutes. They got pockets of lapses that could really cost them against a team like Hopkins.
Glimpses and lapses and playing in spurts.
Taylor Ray made no bones about it. He said, we're going to have to play our best game of the year by far against this Johns Hopkins team to have a chance.
Beautiful. Oh,
terrific offense. Great passing to the backside, and Matt Collison finishes it with a beautiful stroke from about 12 yards. Finds the back of the net. Hopkins back up by 2.
Mark this one down. Blue Jay faithful. Yeah, that's as good as it gets right here at Homewood. Multiple pass goal. It starts with the turnover. We talked about the sloppiness from St. Joe's. They're not winning as many faceoffs as they're accustomed to. The Blue Jays get this ball on the carpet, and that leads to the possession. Scott Smith does a great job. Watch the ball movement, though. Tic-tac-toe, wing dodge through X, far side, turn and rake.
It's Degnan with the finish. Ryan Evans with the feed. So that's your second midfield group. 3 of the 4 goals have been assisted for Johns Hopkins, but you get your second line midfield out there that can move the ball like that. All 3 of them touch it. Terrific job. Dunn coming down on the break. Good defense by St. Joe's. There's a trail. Melendez can't handle it. Loose ball picked up by the Hawks. Good turn. And this is Zach Cole. Hopkins does a great job in the sub game to cut the field in half to get back into the hole. St. Joe's Levi Anderson will settle it down, and they look to get their 3rd tally of the game.
What has really stood out to me are the faceoffs in this game. Hopkins has won 4 of 7 against Zach Cole, who comes in at 77%.
Very impressive. Hopkins will take that all day long. Levi Anderson, 6'4", out of Calgary, Alberta.
Lefty, cross-handed hold, well done. Is that Scott Smith on the corner?
Mazzone with the primary matchup, but then Smith with the great slide, put his stick right across the wrists.
Or is it Carson Brown?
Carson Brown, number 11. Yeah, out there on Anderson. Melendez picks up the loose ball. Waits for the over and back. Gets the quick restart. Here we go.
You got numbers on a trailer break here if you want it.
So Carson Brown, the freshman, continuing to elevate his game.
This is the best Johns Hopkins has looked this season.
And you thought that was going to be the case.
Look, schedule dynamics are huge. Then you compound that by the massive amount of injuries that Hopkins has had. And they've been dealt a difficult card so far this season.
Yeah, the Hopkins starting defense is Grimes gets a step, trail check.
And you play Carolina on short rest. You play Loyola without Angeles and Melendez. You had no chance to win that game. You're kind of banged up against Utah, and now you got a full week to prepare for this one.
Good ball movement. Angeles sets up, shoots, and it looks like it got between the wickets of Scott McMillan. McMillan, the netminder for St. Joe's, still without a save. Angeles has his first of the afternoon. Hopkins widens their lead.
The injuries have led to lack of consistency with this offense. I mean, guys have not been in the same spot in practice and then in games, so it's hard for John Crawley, the offense coordinator, and Pete Millen to get any kind of continuity, any flow, any rhythm, but today it's crisp. Everybody's in the right spots. They're sharing the ball, fundamentally sound with the passing. I think it stood out too, Mark.
Really good job of keeping it hot, spinning the ball. Dunn wins the faceoff, gets shoved to the turf. Play on, we have a loose ball hold Possession will stay with the Jays. Angeles with a goal and an assist now in today's game.
You mentioned schedule dynamics. They got Tuesday night. Virginia's here on ESPN Plus. 4 o'clock game on Tuesday, followed by a key Saturday game next week against Delaware. All player participants. So the schedule's super tough. If you can get 2 out of 3 this week, if you're Hopkins, you take it. You take it any day of the week.
Does not let up. Actually, Quinn, on Saturday, the Jays will go to the Dome and take on Syracuse.
Sorry, Syracuse. Did we show Delaware on our graphic earlier?
Not sure. There's McMillan with his first save.
So you're at the Dome. Then the following week is they got Navy Delaware in 2 games in
2 games in 3 days. Yeah.
No, you're right. Next week is Cuse.
Hard to keep track. Hopkins playing so many top-ranked teams. Another player, Quint, you mentioned healthy. Patrick Dean's checking into the game. This is his first action in a few weeks.
Wow, look at Scott Smith pressing out against Levi Anderson, covering him to the sideline, Dixie.
Smith, physical. Peter Millman telling us this week that his evolution has been terrific. He just keeps getting better and better. And he's a Philadelphia guy.
St. Joe's is going to go after the shorts here with 30 to go in this first quarter. They like Dwyer. Any matchup, they like Dwyer. Power Dodger, he's going to try to run this man over.
And that man is Brett Martin.
Hopkins has to be ready to support.
Dwyer coming in. 10 seconds left. Shot goes wide. Anderson and Smith running it to the sideline. Anderson on the end line wins the race. 8.3 seconds to go. And Anderson is not the most fleet of foot. We'll see what strategy the Hawks incorporate. He wasted 3 seconds in his approach. Anderson bullying his way to the cage. Sneaks it. Crease violation. Doesn't matter anyway.
Things get testy.
3-0.
Things get chippy in front of the Blue Jay net. That's the most physical I've seen this defense. And look at their bench. They're on fire.
How about Marcio running side by side with Anderson? Wonder what that conversation is. Hopkins has come out firing. St. Joe's, of course, looking toward to the
zone from Georgetown. Can't be understated. And then the goaltending, increase. Whether it's been Tim Marcial, who's been outstanding. The game he missed, Gib Versfeld one, and Hopkins, I'd have to look at the numbers from last year, Dixie, but it feels like their save percentage is up at like 10% at least.
He's definitely stabilized that goaltender
last year
position.
was like a 45%, maybe get to 50. This year, it feels like they're flirting more with 60%.
No doubt. Hopkins with now a 6-3 advantage in the face-off department. I believe that was the second violation on Zach Cole. Of course, 3 violations and a half. Flags fly. So we'll see how he adjusts.
For every dominant FOGO that comes from a mid-major or a lesser conference, there are those fans and analysts and experts that say, well, he's a product of the schedule. He doesn't face off against great players. And when days like today happen, you kind of got to shake your head and say, well, maybe there's some validity there.
Sure. First midfield group on the pitch for Hopkins. Degnaud draws a short stick. 20 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays. Dylan Bauer operating up top. Spins away from the pressure. Cullison behind the cage. Tries to pick. Good defense by the Hawks. Feed in front shot. Degnaud just goes over the crossbar. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see what Hopkins elects to do. The middies are running off the field.
Jays are okay with that possession, Mark. John Crawley seemed to be enthusiastic about it. And this Hopkins motion offense, one thing you'll see, anytime you give the ball up, you're either going to pick for the man you throw it to, or you're going to cut the crease, or go set a screen somewhere else. And it's just constant movement with those 3 basics tied together. So far for St. Joe's, it's been all midfield-generated offense. Long dodges from their middies. We haven't mentioned Matt Bomer behind the net, number 4, who's kind of the quarterback of this group.
Yeah, Bomer, 3 goals, 7 assists coming into this season.
Jays are really pressing out against him. Bo Zuluk's back there, making it tough for him to get the ball.
Flag down, Brett Martin now leading the transition for Johns Hopkins. They've got numbers. Martin pulls up, lets it rip. McMillan reads it, makes the stop. Second save of the game for the graduate transfer from Gettysburg. We'll see what the call is.
Black, 8, hold, 30-second technical foul. Black,
Hold
8,
against
30
St. Joe's. Hopkins will be man up for up to 30 seconds.
Bo Zulik back in the lineup for the Blue Jays on defense, 44 in white, and he's done a nice job of pressing to X behind the goal. And basically, Bomer's playing on the end line, and what that's done is it's cut any kind of ball reversal for St. Joe's. So the ball's been kind of stagnant on one side of the field. What that means defensively, it's just a lot easier to double team and know your assignments when the ball's not pinballing all over the place.
Not moving fast, not rotating, not get the defense moving. Hopkins is already 1 for 1 on the EMO.
There's a shot.
Degnan lets her rip, and he tattoos the upper 90. Garrett Degnan, low to high, sizzler. Tickles the twine. The Blue Jays are playing very, very good lacrosse.
Spoke to Degnan a couple weeks ago. DeMatha 2018. This is a guy who dealt with a lot when he was in high school. He actually had a severe case of food poisoning and salmonella during the camp circuit. Lost like 25 pounds, was out of commission for a while. And he's done a great job in his career at Hopkins of reshaping his body. He came in as a freshman. His speed wasn't up to par. He's hit the weight room. He's really had to work hard to improve his speed. What he's always had is a cannon. He's got a left-handed rocket.
Been versatile during his career here at Hopkins, playing midfield, now playing attack. We had a hold against Hopkins, but the interesting thing on that call was that Zach Cole had the stick of Tyler Dunn pinned under his armpit, but the hold goes against the Blue Jays, who now 5 of their 6 goals have been assisted. Second midfield unit for the Hawks checks back into the game.
So you see how Hopkins is on the left-hand side of your screen. Look, you see Zulik, the way he's pressing out to Bomer, is denying the ball there.
Just not letting him get comfortable at all.
And they're content to play 5-on-5. They got to support this matchup, the Blue Jays do. Dwyer's got Ince when he wants him.
This is Bomer against the defense of Bowden Zulik.
Nice poke. He gets under the arm. Hopkins bench wanted a warding call.
William King now. Flag is down. Looks like it's going to be a hold against Cody Ince. Feed inside, shot to goal. Nice little feed from Levi Anderson. He finds Carter Page, the junior out of Peterborough, Ontario. Scored 51 goals a year ago, and he gets his 10th on the 2023 campaign. Penalty is wiped off by the score.
This is a vicious, I mean vicious release from number 62. Who's got funkier numbers than St. Joe's? Ain't nobody I know has got funky numbers. They got a 60, a 56, a 52, a 63, a 62. And man, this guy can shoot. Righty from Peterborough, Ontario, played at the Hill School of PA. U21 Canadian. This guy's sponsored by Sherwin-Williams, man. He is painting corners.
3 out of 6 shooting as we take a look at the profile.
They haven't taken many shots, but they've been pretty good. You see Carter Page, it's a lot of goals, man. That's a lot of goals.
Sports marketing major on Hawk Hill.
Right-handed shooter, off ball. Alex Mazzone typically will draw that assignment.
Dunn gets blown up from the side. No call. Ball played up to Zach Cole. Cole picks it up, pushes it, shot, save Marcia. Fought that one off. That was another high heat offering from Page. Nice ground ball picked up. Timeout taken, and we got a Blue Jay in the Hawk bench, in the Hawk nest. Coaching staff for St. Joe's does a great job of keeping everybody separated. It was Scott Smith that found himself in enemy territory. Great timeout call by what he and his coaching staff have drawn up to try to get St. Joe's to within 2.
Tell you one thing we've learned after about 20 minutes. Hopkins offense really sharp and crisp today. St. Joe's, man, they can shoot.
They can.
They got some dangerous weapons.
Mac McLaughlin, after the timeout, just kind of runs into a triple team. Tough ground ball by Levi Anderson, and look at the power And the strength of Levi Anderson.
And they're good off the ground, too, around the net with Carter Page and Levi Anderson and Tucker Brown. High skill component, high toughness component. That's got to be a push on Black.
Push against St. Joe's, and McLaughlin took some collateral damage right there. 6 turnover for the Hawks. Hopkins pushing the issue. Ball loose. Look at Scott Smith pick it up. And a timeout called by Peter Milliman of Johns Hopkins. He senses the...
Yeah, and what Coach Milliman, he's a smart guy. He's using the Ivy League methodology of playing non-conference teams. You want to play leaders in other leagues, the lesser leagues. So Jacksonville has got a chance to win their league. St. Joe's got a chance to win their league. And Delaware's got a chance to win their league. And that's one thing that Milliman's very acutely aware of.
Out of the timeout, second midfield unit on the field for the Blue Jays. Peshko, Chevette, Evans. Chevette gets a step on his man.
And I say that because your RPI, your opponent's win-loss percentage, is really critical in RPI.
Giant. Again, a good 7-6 beats a ratty 10-3 any day. 30 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays. Chevette. Again, he's kind of limited when he goes down that alley. If the slide comes, he can't put the stick in his right hand. Angeles. Good cross look. It gets through to Degnan, and we got a crease violation. Melendez stepped in the crease, kills the play. The Hawks create the turnover.
That was the best defense we've seen from St. Joe's today, and they just airmailed this ball out onto University Parkway.
Degnan just shoves.
So there's a level of sloppiness that's associated everything we've seen from the Hawks today.
And that was a little lazy. Keener picks the ball up and kind of nonchalant, like, okay, let's clear it. And Degnan just comes and levels him. You got to be whistle ready, aware of who's riding you, who's in front of you.
Those type of mistakes have permeated their games against Towson, Sacred Heart, and Providence. They've just been getting away with it. You become the teams you play.
Good point.
I mean, you look at Navy. They play Manhattan. They play garbage, and all of a sudden they're losing those games.
Opened the year 3-0, and everyone was excited about the midshipmen. They've dropped 2 in a row. Prior to today's game against Lehigh. Sloppy pass goes out of bounds. Turnover to St. Joe's. That is 7 turnovers now for the Blue Jays. Hawks look to clear. Good hustle. That's how you get the ball cleared.
I got to see more touches for Anderson and Bowman, the attackmen. Everything's run through the midfield. Dwyer, big number 13, has really been the only guy who's had any kind of dodging success. I'm surprised we haven't seen Colin Reich, 52, try to isolate. Thought he had good wheels on tape.
Yeah, had a touch early in the game, and then we haven't really called his name since. Second midfield unit. That is one thing about St. Joe's. They run these first and second lines almost equally. A lot of experience, though.
No, it's a good... This is a strong offense.
Sure.
With varied skill sets.
You're just looking for maybe to
I'm just looking
operate from a different area of the field, different personnel. Duran works inside, tiptoes, won't not count. Goalmouth violation against St. Joe's. Possession over to Hopkins. Nice individual effort. 8th turnover for St. Joe's, but Duran, his momentum carried him into the goalmouth. There was no foul on the play, hence no goal. Turnover to Hopkins.
Landed in the inner ice cream cone that we can't see really well on this turf surface.
It is really hard to see at Homewood.
It needs to be, the line needs to be easier to read. But a good clear from Hopkins. That's one thing that they've improved on this season. Clearing. It was a disaster last year. They've cleared the ball pretty well this year.
Peshko can't handle that feed from Ryan Evans. Will it have enough juice to get out of bounds? Nice nifty play right there by Peshko. Keeps it inbounds, and then watch out, Degnan.
Wow.
Wow, oh my, wow is right. He tries his Jamal Lewis impersonation right there. Gets shoved out of bounds. Possession over to St. Joe's. Major collision on University Parkway right there.
So Reich's the guy on this possession right here. He's got the shorty matchup.
Yeah, Reich coming into today's game. 3 goals, 3 assists. 5'11" senior out of Charleston, South Carolina.
The green light right now should be on for him. This is a good matchup for Colin Reich. The senior who can snake through the D. The physical play, though, these teams have both brought it on loose balls. Here it is, left side of your screen. Degnan gets a little casual.
That was Michael Gahan with the defense. And then the shot and the score from St. Joe's. I believe that was number 62, Carter Page, with another tally. And the Hawks, big boy defense, turns into Pater on the other end.
After a 6-2 deficit, back-to-back goals, it's Carter Page drawing the double team. Look at this handle in traffic. That's a ridiculous shot. I mean, he is pretty well covered, but he gets his hands free. Look at him, right-handed, snakes away. He gets tripped as he's falling. It's tough for Marcille to locate that ball in the pocket. Just an individual effort, just a gem from Carter Page.
How about that wrist strength? Falling away from the goal. He's now 2 out of 3 shooting, and he's able to get that thing. Placement, velocity, pace.
51 goals last year, Dixie. 51 and 5. Okay, those are Paul Carcaterra-like stats.
Allergic to sharing the rock is what you're saying?
90% goals, 10% assists.
Taylor Ray telling us that Page is not an elite athlete, but he's slippery. And he was certainly slippery on that one. And we've got another crease violation against Hopkins. The shot, nice look inside. Bouncer goes over the cage. But it looks like Degnan was the one that stepped into crease. Possession back over to the Hawks.
You don't want to clear it up this near side. They get lucky.
King makes a good decision, wheels it out, gets it over to Ryan Duran. And remember, too, Duran's goal was wiped out. He beat his one-on-one matchup, got inside.
He's a trusty component,
yeah.
A grad student. I think he's one of, what do they have, 24 seniors and grad students on this roster? Enormous roster of 65. They must have taken 2 buses here today. You can't put 65 guys in a staff on 1 bus. Or do you make the guys drive by themselves? You put them on the equipment van.
Anderson, backhand shot, goes wide. Backed up by St. Joe's. They will retain possession. 31 seconds left to shoot. St. Joe's came down today, too. Same-day trip, up and back.
Same-day trip, about 2 hours they budgeted for the bus ride.
Feet inside, not handed. Here comes Marcille. Oh, doing a Brian Carcaterra impersonation. Picks up the ground ball, clears it over the midfield line, and we've got another timeout. It is Peter Milliman for Johns Hopkins. 4:27 left to go in the first half, and he'll spend his second and final timeout.
Time in the backyard, just practicing shooting. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Band's in mid-season form, Dix.
They sound good. That brings a smile to your face.
Much better. That Tuesday turmoil when they showed up with a 3-piece ensemble for Carolina was disheartening, to say the least.
Did your letter to the band leaders, it was well received. They took the constructive criticism. They took it to heart. Grimes, wow, what a check.
Yard sale in Homeland. There's actually a farmer's market on Sundays under the JFX downtown.
Matt Popek, graduate out of Olney, Maryland, graduate student out of Olney, Maryland, makes the terrific check. How about the St. Joe's bench? It's almost like a college football bench. We've got number 64 for the Hawks holding up the signs. Feet inside, there's a beautiful goal. Scored by Michael Gahan, the short stick defensive midfielder, redshirt freshman out of Orland Park, Illinois. And the Hawks are feeling it on Homewood.
3 straight. It starts with a good defense, and now they're cashing in on the offensive end. Watch this. Boom. Little back check on the butt end. Ball pops out cleanly. 2-man game behind the goal. Marcille makes a fatal mistake. tic-tac-toe, St. Joe's in business.
Gahan did not play a year ago, was injured. His second goal of the season, and now a face-off violation against Johns Hopkins. Don't look now, but here come the Hawks. 3.5 to go. Bad pass, not a good decision, but a missed ground ball by Smith. Feed inside, timeout taken by Taylor Ray and St. Joe's.
You know, this game, the ebb and flows of this game.
Team USA.
That's the land of the misfit toys at that camp. And that team generally got squashed. Well, he's playing in that tournament for Team USA, and Joe Alberici, who at the time was an assistant at Duke, spots him and likes him. Recruited as an offensive player to play for Duke, and Mike Pressler at the time, they switch him to defense. He becomes a super player for Duke, and then really a Team Canada level player, both indoors and professionally.
An amazing story, and I used to officiate that champ camp back in the day when it was in existence, and that Team USA, that was just a ragtag bunch that was basically getting together to get seen. Ray got seen, he had an amazing career, and that's an amazing shot. St. Joe's is starting to put it together offensively. Carter Page with another goal, this time an individual effort from behind the cage.
4 straight. They were down 6-2.
Should make that Colin Reich. Colin Reich, you wanted him involved, and he got it.
Gahan and Reich. I like Reich's wheels. This is a guy who flashes on tape. He's from Charleston, South Carolina. Great city. And he just beats 2 men left-handed. What stood out through me is his ability to snake through the defense. Usually in front of the goal, a dodger with excellent wheels.
Great individual effort from Reich. Face-off, Dunn wins it. Then he gets tripped up from behind. That's going to be a hold out of the face-off cylinder, so there's not a violation. And you can see Dunn and Cole, they're having a conversation walking off the field. This game, a lot of it, you can feel the intensity. You can see it, but you can also feel it between these two teams. Hopkins now with the 8-6 advantage at the dot. Chevette sweeping, draws the slide. Evans draws a double. Great feed inside. Chevette with the finish. Flag flies. We'll see if it is a 1-minute penalty or a 30-second penalty, but that goal is going to stand as Chevette was hit illegally into the goal mouth. Beautiful look from Ryan Evans. Hopkins has an answer and regains the lead.
Coach, goal is good. Flag is waved. Flag is waved.
Push call against St. Joe's. Penalties wiped out, goal stands. Hopkins leads by 1.
Triangle passing from Hopkins. They press from X up the right-handed side. They draw the double team, and then you see the shallow cut left-handed. Again, the stick work for Hopkins has really been accurate today. The push. They're just keeping things simple on offense. You're not seeing too many unforced turnovers. Their cutting game has been a strong part of this offense all season.
Cole wins the faceoff, but then drops it, and Dunn is able to pick it up and slaloms through a couple of black jerseys, Cole included, to get the ball to Degnan on offense. Hopkins is out of timeouts. 1:53 left to go here in the first half. I mean, we've seen this Hopkins team a couple times now. They have shown the resiliency that when they punch and they get punched back, they've got some counter punches in their bag. Collison, shorty matchup. Feed, oh, he had a cutting Dylan Bauer. Pass is a little too high, turnover to the Hawks.
Those are stingers.
10th turnover of the game for the Blue Jays. Another good clear from St. Joe's. Second midfield unit checking back into the contest.
Dwyer's a big threat here, 13 in black, top of the top of the box right now. He's going to try to run downhill.
20 goals and 5 assists last year as a senior for Wagner.
Jays put a pole on him because of his size.
Patrick Deans gets that assignment. This is Cody Ince sizing up William King.
King's from Columbia, South Carolina, home of the Gamecocks.
30 seconds left, and it looks like St. Joe's is going to be comfortable playing for the last shot. You've got King out here looking at the clock. He'll probably go at 15. It's at 16, and he makes his approach to the cage. King with a step, wheels back. Ince, good defense, shot wide. Backed up by St. Joe's, 8 seconds remaining. Ball stays with the Hawks.
Roll dodge to a step back for King.
This is Levi Anderson, bullying his way to the cage. Strength against strength. Smith on Anderson. Anderson ain't giving it up. Shot goes wide, bounces away harmlessly. Horn sounds, clock hits 000. That'll do it for the first half here at Homewood Field.
Tell you, that was fun. Blue Jays played their best quarter of the season in that first stanza. It was Peshko, Bauer, Degnan and Angelis. They led 5-2, but St. Zach Cole coming into this game at 77%. He wins that clamp easily. What stands out on tape is his ability to exit to different pockets of the field where the wing players can't impact him getting the ball.
Tyler Dunn with a slick ground ball after some big traffic at the middle of the field. He is dispossessed of the ball.
Dunn,
St. Joe picks it up.
Yeah, Dunn is a really good clamper, but in my eyes, his greatest skills, and you watch him on tape, is reading his wings. He looks to both sides, and then once the ball is clamped or he's got semi-control of it, he puts it to the pockets where the other team can't impact him getting it there. His exits are beautiful.
And we haven't seen Logan Callahan yet for Hopkins. Normally they have that 1-2 punch, and maybe we'll see Callahan here in the second half. St. Joe's with the shot, goes wide. Possession
nice.
Staying with the team in black.
I like that, Dixie. I like that a lot. Levi Anderson presses the corner. They swing the ball through up top and get a wing shot from the right-handed side.
Full extension. Scott Smith eats that one. 30 seconds to shoot for St. Joe's. Turn the corner, shot. Marcille gets it. No one could locate it. It's out in front of the crease. Jaronski picks it up. Crease violation against St. Joe's. Possession over to the Blue Jays.
Nicely done by Jaronski there, Dixie B, because you get the ball, you show the ref you're ready, and you get that quick restart, and you whistle ready before the other attack can get organized and get two men up to double team the ball.
It's so critical with the way the rules are. If you're heady, smart, like you said, whistle ready, you can create so many different opportunities for your team. You can score goals off of things like that if the defense is napping. Degnan took his eyes off that pass, drops it, able to pick it up. Ryan Evans, beautiful assist in the first half for Evans, who returned to action last week after missing the first handful of games for Johns Hopkins. Chevette operating from the wing. "14 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays. Feet out front, behind the back. Evans doesn't hit anything. Shot clock continues to trickle down. 5 seconds now. Angeles, feet up front. Shot from Degnan, and he scores! As the shot clock was expiring, Garrett Degnan catches.
St. Joe's had played terrific defense, Dixie, during that set.
Now, I know you're right-handed. McMillan's left-handed, but he didn't even move his stick on that shot.
Well, he also gave up the near post a little much, and you'd like to take away that near side with your body. I think he's on a pretty flat arc for a goalie who's not particularly large also, so he shows a lot of net.
And St. Joe's, there's a penalty against Johns Hopkins. Technical 30 seconds, but St. Joe's has made a goalie switch, Quint. We've got the righty checking into the game, number 39, Robbie Seeley. Looks like he has checked into the game for St. Joe's.
Great job by Cole on this faceoff to use his body, to use the strength in his hips, to shield the ball from the opponent.
We'll see if Cole can get into a rhythm here in the second half.
This extra man unit scares me. You got sticks and shooters everywhere.
Wide open is one of those shooters right there in 5-hole. Tucker Brown. Call it the worm burner. Gets it through the wickets of Tim Marcille. Nasty shot. St. Joe's cashes in on the extra man.
This is what I'm talking about. When guys like Levi Anderson, Carter Page, or Tucker Brown can set their feet and look at the goal and not worry about being lit up, turn and rake, you're not going to have any kind of success. I mean, he gets a multiple crow hop. Marcille, for some reason, watch his stick, doesn't move at all. And that ball goes 5-hole from mid-range. Nothing Marcille could do about that. He's got to either blatantly guess or hope to get lucky.
Credit the assist to Colin Campbell. And on the ensuing faceoff, we got a violation against Hopkins. St. Joe's back on. Nice trail check. Zach Cole with that shot. Trail check. Possession stays with the Hawks.
You feel the face-off battle maybe tilting now maybe towards Zach Cole, who's really known for his preparation, his film study. This is a guy who breaks down all the clips on his own on Sundays and reports to the coaches on Mondays and says, "Coach, this is how we need to play our wings this week. This is what I'm seeing." So I think that same type of student athlete's a guy who's going to be making adjustments at halftime, figuring things out after a slow first half by his standards.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's watching film off of an iPad or some other device in the locker room. William King with that shot. And that was Logan Callahan taking that last draw for the Blue Jays. He violates, possession goes over to St. Joe's, and here we are again, the Hawks feeling good about themselves. There's Levi Anderson, shot again, soaked up by Scott Smith, playing the role of a bounce back. Raposo drops Dwyer.
Yeah, this game is physical. Pete Millman told us on the phone, he says, you watch St. Joe's play, and they're a physical team. They challenge space. They take you down, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. They're physical, just like their head coach, Taylor Ray.
Raposo, 5'9", drops Dwyer, 6'4".
Still in the 10-man here. St. Joe's pressing out.
Nice handle by Ince, backhands it to Garrett Degnan. He did well to handle the pressure.
Good play, he didn't panic, and give Degnan credit too, because he really worked hard to come up front swing all the way to the 50-yard line to avail himself.
And how about the spacing? And here's the hit.
It's a physical play. We've seen a lot of clean hits today, shoulder to shoulder, hits, hips to hip. I like the technique we've seen on all these.
And I love your point on Degnan coming up, but he also, it was good spacing. He gave Ince an opportunity to have area to operate and get them the ball cleanly without making the job easier for St. Joe's. And Matt Collison makes that one look pretty simple. Right on the doorstep, takes the feed from Angelus, slips it by the St. Joe's goaltender. Hopkins gets back up to 2.
I think Angelus has got 3 assists. One of the key components to a motion offense is cutting. And when you, especially when you have a short stick defender in coverage, as Collison did right there, it's hard for a short stick defensive midfielder to encroach space and create positive defensive leverage when you cut. And Collison, the big target, keeps that simple.
Jacob Angelus with his 3rd assist of the game. 8 of the 9 Hopkins scores have been assisted. Zach Cole wins the next face-off.
Mazzone with great hustle on that loose ball, the lefty grad transfer.
He created that face-off win for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays as Alex Keener for St. Joe's had trouble handling that flip from Zach Cole.
Hopkins wing players have shown up today between Hawley and Mazzone.
And they're making a difference here in 2023. They really are. Just a lot of hustle, stick-to-itiveness, not giving up on plays. They definitely won that possession back because Cole had that face-off in his back pocket and was ready for St. Joe's to go back on offense. Melendez has been quiet today. He has been covered by Clemens. Wide open. Chevette winds up, shoots, just goes wide. Possession stays with the Blue Jays. 26 seconds to shoot. Feed inside, Chevette. Under the crossbar. Low to high. Rocket.
Back-to-back goals by Collison. That one by Chevette. And Angelus now has 4 assists.
Chevette, the junior out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, came into today's game with only 1 goal. So he scored 2 big ones here thus far for Hopkins. It's his first career multi-goal game. And as you mentioned, Angelus with his 4th helper.
Chevette's played well this season, believe it or not. The junior from Culver, Ohio native, was really recruited initially because the Hopkins staff loved his brother, loved his younger brother.
Hunter Chevette, I believe.
They were viewing that as a package deal.
Yeah. I like Chevette off ball more than I like him creating on offense.
Yeah, the left-handed cut. I agree. Real smart player without the ball on the stick.
And I think you're seeing with the health of Evans getting more, and Peshko's always a handful. I think you can get Chevette off ball on that midfield line.
Grimes been very quiet today, 9 in white.
We knew Ray was concerned with everyone on this Hopkins team, but in particular, number 9 and number 40 is what he told us, and that's Grimes and Degnan. And there's Collison. He was another one. Nice save by Seeley, but he gets jumped from behind.
Seeley got ambushed, the righty, the senior.
That was luck. That was a fortuitous bounce.
I'll tell you, it was Seeley who was the hero last year. 54%. He went 10-2 as a starter, Dixie. And so that when he had a rough outing against Towson, he gets yanked. I think he's put in a lot of time now behind the scenes to try to get his top form back.
Senior out of Marcellus, New York. Was a surprise starter. Supplanted the returner last year for St. Joe's. And that's why they were amenable to McMillan coming in as a graduate transfer. Big hit by Zulik.
We need a whistle. We need a whistle. This is a serious injury. This is going to be a penalty against Johns Hopkins after the play.
That's Carter Page struggling. I was following the ball and I did not see. I saw the collision between Bomer and Zulik initially.
Wait, 44, taunting.
We mentioned the tension simmering between these two teams. So it's a 1 minute full time against Johns Hopkins. Let's take a look at the hit.
It's just unsportsmanlike. That's a clean hit.
Yeah, that's...
And then after it, he's down on the ground, and Zulik walks by him, and I think he said something, Mark. So this is unsportsmanlike.
Okay, but... So Zulik...
That was clean contact.
I originally thought the hit was on Bomer, but I will say, so high hits, obviously always a point of emphasis. We saw last week, Bucknell, Harvard. Sean Jordan got hit for Harvard. Looked like a clean hit when you watch it on film, but he had a Tua situation where, unfortunately, he started to seize up. Ambulance came on the field, took him off. The player for Bucknell got a 3-minute foul and was ejected from the game, and I thought that was a little overkill. So oftentimes when players end up on the deck, that's when the flag flies.
It's
and
clearly
the
defined as indirect contact, direct contact, or flagrant contact.
Right. And when you see a guy on the field, especially helmet off,
the results should have no part of the equation in terms of penalties. Because if it does, guys are going to start to take dives.
Absolutely. Well, we're happy to report that Sean Jordan was out of the hospital over the last weekend, healthy. Offsides against Hopkins, and wow. Here we got something brewing here at midfield between Smith.
This game's on the edge, isn't it?
It's the officials. Now, if it's a game management situation, shot wide. Marcial's the backup. This is boiling point time for the referees. They've got to be on their game, and they've got to be sharp over the next couple of minutes. So this one's really going to devolve into Ryan Evans with the shot, devolve into something ugly.
Jays need to take their time on this offensive possession. Best work in the second half has come off the stick of Angeles. Off of ball rotations, he's the quarterback behind, and he's fed the crease for 3 consecutive goals.
Such a difference maker. You mentioned it earlier when Melendez and Angeles missed that Loyola game. That was tough. But I think we're finding out that Angeles is the straw that stirs the drink. Nice little 2-man game. Underneath is Peshko. Gets in front, shoots and scores, takes a hit. No flags. Referees come in to make sure nothing extracurricular takes place. Peshko with the finish. He earned it, paid the price. But Hopkins extends their lead. Big time.
And that's really been the key to success for Hopkins.
Such a good distributor. Jacob Angeles comes into today's game.
They got to get in his hands, Mark. He's awful comfortable. He's just sitting there on the low corner with time and room, like a quarterback sitting in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know, get on his hands because when you pressure a guy, that impacts vision.
Came into today's game, 3 goals and 11 assists. So obviously Angeles is a vision pass first player, and to your point, got to make him uncomfortable, got to get a stick in his gloves. We'll see if St. Joe's changes their defensive strategy.
About a 7-minute drought now for St. Joe's.
Tucker Brown.
Not his game. Not a Dodger.
No.
Terrific without the ball, catch and shoot guy.
Colin Reich stepping in against Brett Martin.
He is a Dodger. Reich's got good wheels.
Feed over, shot goes wide. Backed up by Levi Anderson.
Zulik did a good job there, 44 and white, to get to the hands of the shooters at the release point. Contested shots. When you watch a college lacrosse game and you see a team like Notre Dame last week just tearing it up against Georgetown, and you see that none of them ever got it contested, none of the shots.
Flag down. It's going to be a hold against Hopkins. St. Joe's right now shooting 1 out of 10 here in the third quarter.
These refs have let things go here. Some of these stick checks.
Hopkins shooting 4 of 7. Anderson shoots it wide. Whistle blows, and we're going to have the call.
Twister by Anderson.
White, 1-8, hold, tech foul 30. White, 1-8, hold, tech foul 30.
Hold call against Scott Smith. 30-second man advantage coming for St. Joe's.
Underneath. I guess the portion of that play, Mark, when his hands are wide in the cross-check position.
Yeah, and he impeded, took away his advantage, he impeded his movement illegally with that little hook.
Jays press out.
Marcial hugs the pipe and makes the save. 4th save of the game for Marcial. St. Joe's now 1 out of 3 with the EMO.
That's a big one for Marcial. You know, it's not like St. Joe is bombarding him with action. They're picking their spots. Man down, if you're a goalie, your mentality has got to be to welcome being man down. That's a time for you to shine. It's a time for you to make a save and make a play. That's the moment.
Marcial just had a big one right there. Again, missed the game against Utah last week. Give Versfeld his backup. Played very well, making 15 saves. 8 alone in the 3rd quarter when Utah dominated possession. Nice feed inside. Temporary mishandle by Degnan. Nifty ground ball off the end line. That's Robbie Seeley.
Should have let it roll out of bounds.
Probably. Would have been a lot easier to, to look upfield than to run for your life.
Well, that's a cross check.
That's a cross check. Degnan will go to the box. I like how the referees are starting to get a little bit more handle on this game.
Yeah, and that's the play that we are seeing on a weekly basis.
Yes, yeah.
That drives me nuts. For these players to run around the lacrosse field and cross-check guys up by the shoulder or neck area, not sure what they're thinking, what they're watching, or what they're being coached. But this is an easy call, and this is a highly dangerous play.
So many things can happen when you get that stick, especially thrust. And I think what the officials now are talking about...
Is it going to be a hold or a cross-check?
Is it going to be a hold or a cross-check? And if it's a cross-check, are we going to go multiple minutes or potentially lock in?
40. Illegal contact to the head. 1 minute. Full time.
So they call that illegal contact to the head.
Indirect. To me, it looked like a cross-check to the neck.
And that does count to
Watch
the
40.
Head and neck area. Yeah, that's a good call.
That is direct contact to the neck. That should be 2 minutes non-releasable by rule.
Not disagreeing.
That's not indirect, Mark. That's direct.
Not disagreeing. Hopkins man down for a full minute. Can St. Joe's take advantage? They're 1 out of 3 thus far this afternoon on the extra man. Shot. Marcial's there again. Holds his position. Long outlet pass to Jaronski. He can't handle. Ball goes out of bounds. Turnover to St. Joe's.
Good play, bad play. Even had Jaronski completed that, he was cornered. I'm guessing they're calling goalie interference here, which is bailout of the century.
Big time. And now we know why Marcial made what seemed to be an ill-advised pass to Jaronski. His follow-through made contact with a St. Joe's stick, which, if it's not completed, that means it's an automatic free clear. Nice job by Marcial.
Double team in the corner.
Timeout taken by Hopkins. Boy, we're getting our money's worth here today, Quint. This one has been intense. The greatest.
Made his job easy.
Still got to make the stop, right?
No, I know. And Marcial bouncing back from, I thought he was a little subpar against Loyola. He got caught guessing a couple times, and he has not been a guesser this season. And then had the head injury to deal with, and good to see him back and playing at a high level again.
So an interference call, and that's a little bit of a bailout for Hopkins right there, is the pass to Melendez. It was almost like in football, the defensive back wasn't facing the ball. They were just facing the receiver.
So man down, and Marcial come up strong. Team's back to even strength.
.114 left to go here in the third quarter. Hopkins 11, St. Joe's 7.
Jay's going really slow with this possession. A little differential in the, the shot clock's down to 40, and we got a minute to go.
Hopkins got a reset on that interference call against St. Joe's. So they are milking it. To your point, Quint, about a 22-second differential between the shot and game clock, with the shot clock at 20 seconds. Now Angeles starts his approach to the cage. Pulls it out, looking for a two-man game with Dylan Bauer. 10 seconds to shoot. Feed inside, shot to goal! Beautiful execution. Bauer, Angeles with the two-man game. Cullison pops free, takes the feed, rips it past Sealy. Angeles with his 6th helper of the game finds Matt Cullison.
This is a weird goal because something happens off to the right of our screen where Cole Peters, the St. Joe's defender, is just, he loses his man, and you'll see the tail end. That's the aftermath. That's the crime scene right there. But this goal was made up top. And you see, there is 16. It's almost like, I'm not sure what happened up top, whether there was a back pick set or he just got caught looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we were both paying attention to the ball. 11th straight assisted goal for Johns Hopkins, and Dunn wins the faceoff.
And Angeles is putting together a passing clinic.
Career day.
Passing clinic in the second half. 5 assists alone in the second half. If you're St. Joe's, you got to press out to 23 and white. Take him out of the equation.
Ryan Evans trying to make something happen on short time. 3 seconds, Levi Anderson shoots. What a save by Marcille. Makes the split, fights the shot off. And the Hopkins bench running to their netminder, Tim Marcille, to give him a high five as he keeps this a 5-goal.
To recovery, she was cleared to play 3 months post-op. Celebrating her 2-year cancerversary this past November, Griffin has been heavily involved in the Headstrong Foundation, which assists families going through cancer treatment. Griffin helps lead the foundation's Game Hair Havoc initiative that empowers athletes to style their game hair throughout the season. Turning devastation into positivity, Mary one day aspires to be a sports broadcaster. Mary, we hope to see you in the booth soon.
Great story, good work, Dana. Always inspiring when anyone can beat cancer, let alone a terrific student athlete. St. Joe's trying to get something going, only shooting 1 out of 13 in the third quarter. Face-off battle now, Hopkins 12, St. Joe's 10.
I think that's a huge storyline.
Big time.
You think about the dominance that Zach Cole has experienced in his career. So far this year, he's 77%.
Being tested today, mostly by Tyler Dunn. Flag flies, slow whistle. 15 seconds to shoot for St. Joe's. Head of steam, middle of the field, and a goal. Tucker Brown, the big man, with his 3rd goal of the game, gets to the middle of the field, whips it past Tim Marcille. The flag is wiped off as it was a technical foul, but St. Joe's pulls to within 4.
Tell you, Tucker Brown, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, he's got some unorthodox release points. He doesn't give you consistent looks as a goalie, and he shoots it in stride. Those wrists and his hips. Marcille's got no clue where this is going. The ball's humming and ends up in a beautiful spot, his offside hip. I mean, Tucker Brown's put on a shooting clinic this year.
Taylor Ray saying he's a quiet competitor and he plays the best when the stakes are the highest. Big goal right there out of Worcester Prep on the Eastern Shore, giving Mike Esham a run for his money. As
He's like a Canadian. Rehoboth Beach, that's not in Canada.
It's Delaware.
This game is testing these officials. It is testing them. A lot of rough ground ball plays, a lot of holding, cross-checking, potential high hits, some skirmishes around the crease.
Well, in this game,
it's not an easy game to ref.
No, it's not. And if St. Joe's can't chip away at this Hopkins lead, the way this game has gone, you kind of have to go into prevention mode. Little two-man game shot, nice save by Sealy. Ball's loose, Degnan picked it up momentarily.
You guys are going for kill shots.
Shot to goal. Angeles from Chevette. Bodies flying, sticks flying, shot flying. Angeles rips the cage. Hopkins back up by 5.
Monster game from Angeles. I mean, he's in the shouting range of almost 10 points in this game. Evans doesn't take the extra step to greatness. Degnan delivers the shoulder. Chevy Chevette handles the ball.
He's no gremlin.
And Angeles with the conversion. 2 goals today. How many assists does Mr. Angeles have today, Rustalin? 6. He's got 8 points. 8.
Oh, unfortunate bounce there for Hopkins. It goes right into the stick of Matt Bomer, and Bomer finishes it, the senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
First points for Bomer, I believe. He's been quiet today. They all count, Dixie. They all count.
They doesn't show you how you scored it.
A 4-goal run. You got Zach Cole coming back to this face-off now.
Still have to finish it, and that's exactly what Bomer does.
Clamp and positioning won by the Jays. Just good scrappiness.
Nice ground ball, pit work, and here come Levi Anderson. Nice drop down low, shot to score, Carter Page. St. Joe's bench is feeling it. They fell down back again by 5, and 2 quick strikes has them within 3. 13-10, Jays lead.
16 seconds, goal to goal. Creating the impact of Cole, wins the clamp, and then loses the battle for this ball. And you see, man, these guys have gone at it. A little hockey action, good grounder. This is where the goal scored, right there. The defender on Levi Anderson has got to be there with him, challenging him. Not sure what the deal was. You cannot give an attackman an easy front swing and the ability to secure that ball without challenging him for that.
And you got to think right there, Quint, that is just headiness and desire, because Levi Anderson is not super fast. So in other words, it's not a straight sprint and he beats him to the ball. That's just being aware. Cole wins the faceoff, whirling through the Hopkins defense. Timeout taken by Taylor Ray. And momentum shifting on Hopkins. It is 13-10 Blue Jays. 12:45 left to go in this game. We still got a ways to go, man.
12:45.
Make a call to home. You're going to be late for dinner.
Luckily, I got out of my flight tonight. I don't think I would make it. This game's going to be a marathon.
Shot and a goal. Stephen Dwyer, 6'4", looking over the Hopkins defense. You don't expect him to unleash that shot with the left hand, but he does. And he top bars it.
Go big. Dwyer, the grad transfer from Wagner, Jersey native. He's got guts, and I like that about his game, man. He's a playmaker. Leans in. He's going to own every physical matchup. The double team's just not there, and he shoots through the defender. 6'4", 230 pounds, has its benefits on the lacrosse field.
That is a hefty lacrosse player. Dunn wins the faceoff. Coming right down Charles Street. Shoots and scores. Beautiful shot. Over the left shoulder of Robbie Seeley, who points to himself saying, "That's my bad." Tyler Dunn, huge goal to stop the St. Joe run.
6 goals in like a minute and a half.
It's unbelievable.
6 goals in 118. Cole does a nice job trying to chase this one down, and St. Joe's defense holds. They don't rotate, and they don't give respect to that Fogo.
This game has had a little bit of everything. Sunsplash crowd here at Homewood Field, at least if you're on the far side away from our broadcast position. Winds have stayed relatively mild. Nice double team by St. Joe's. Ball is picked up. Levi Anderson, he's dangerous. He is dangerous in this situation. Holds it up.
They got a break from the box.
Zach Manti waiting for reinforcements. Ryan Duran, injured last year. Number 2 in black was the 2019 member of the 2019 All Northeast Conference rookie team. He's capable. William King, second midfield unit, checking into the game for St. Joe's. Matt McLaughlin, he's been quiet. Senior out of Erdenheim, Pennsylvania.
So this game has been a step up for St. Joe's after going 3-0 against Sacred Heart Towson in Providence. And they'll move forward off of this game.
Smith with a double team, a couple nasty chop checks.
And they still have games with Penn and Drexel next week. Non-conference with Duke as well before they take on the Atlantic 10, where I think they'll be one of the favorites. High Point, Richmond, UMass, or the Hawks.
Shot sails wide. 12 seconds left to shoot. Yeah, love that out-of-conference schedule for St. Joe's on the back half. Carter Page, shot, score! Tim Marcio guess low. Carter Page goes mid-biscuit. It is 14-12. The Hawks get to back within 2.
Tell you, you're learning what's inside the hearts of these Hawks. Jays had all the momentum at 13-8, and Hawks have battled back to score, 4 out of the last 5 goals. Marcil was he was really upset about the defense. It's a late slide. It's a really late slide here. You see the split, right? Brings it back to his right. Juronsky gets run by. The defense is not ready to double team, but Marcil needs to watch that ball in the pocket off the lip because he guessed wrong.
Face-off violation against Hopkins. Taylor Ray flanked by his assistant Scott Meehan and Mike Restivo. Should be Steven Restivo.
Mike Restivo. Works the O.
I always get the Restivo brothers mixed up. First midfield unit for Hopkins. It's been a minute since the Blue Jays have been on offense. This game was 12-7 at the end of the third quarter.
We thought it would be high scoring. All week we did.
St. Joe's has 5 goals in 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
If you watch St. Joe on tape, you realize they hadn't been playing grade A defense so far this year.
Dylan Bauer turns the corner, puts it near post. Sealy can't stop it. Hopkins lead back up to 3.
They like it here at Homewood. I tell you, Bauer's put together a strong season. I thought he was Hopkins' best midfielder early on in the year against Georgetown and Jacksonville. Park City, Utah, the junior curling top side, taking the extra step to greatness.
You can see Sealy off his pipe. Thought Bauer was going to go far post. Instead, he goes near post. Bauer with a big goal. We keep continuing to go back and forth. I mean, this is like what Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, you know, just ringing haymakers. Little Thomas Hearns mixed in there. Hagler Hearns, yeah.
Plug in the first round of Hagler Hearns.
It was a Donnybrook. Good call. Hopkins with the advantage on the faceoff, 17-4. That's got to be a moving pick. No call by the refs. We play on. Can't help it, sorry. Marcil, big save.
Easy one, had to make it, did.
Raposo running it out of defensive end. That's Colin Reich harassing number 20 in white. Gets it to Ryan Evans. Great clear by Raposo.
Blue Jays will be patient here now. Up 3, 9 to go. But you got to keep the pedal to the metal nowadays with the shot clock, okay?
Right.
Too often we see with the shot, with the 80 and the 60-second shot clock, the teams who get out of their offense early often pay the price later. You've got to keep going and keep scoring.
Great point. And Hopkins has played a ton of defense.
How many goals are going to win this game? I think if Hopkins gets to 17,
yeah,
you'd think they'd win. 15's not going to be enough. I'll tell you that right now.
And Taylor Ray told us this week if they can get to 12, he feels great about their chances to win.
Given the score, you think if you're Johns Hopkins, you probably have to get to 17 goals to win this game.
I think you're right.
If you stay on 15, you're not winning.
20 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays. Their defense also needs to catch its breath a little bit. Evans gets free. Unselfish turn back pass to Melendez, who can't handle it. Ball goes out of bounds. Turnover. The St. Joe's defense holds. 8:41 left in the game. 17th turnover for Hopkins.
I think the weird thing about the Hopkins offense is every week it seems like somebody else is the star. Like today, for instance, Melendez and Grimes. We haven't talked about him much. Collison's been generally quiet for him. He's got a goal. But the good news, I think, if you're Peter Milliman and a Blue Jay fan, is that guys are taking turns.
Sure. And that makes you tougher to scout, tougher to defend. A lot of depth.
So today's been Degnan. Chauvette's played his best game of his career. And Angelos obviously is looking at a game ball.
Jonathan Peshko fell off sides behind the play.
How does that happen, Dixie?
Got to be disciplined. Got to know where that midline is. So we got a slow whistle, flag down.
Designated backer now for Hopkins as they have an extra defender on.
Feet up top, nice handle by King. 23 seconds left to shoot. Ball's picked up, play is killed. St. Joe's will go on the extra man, where so far today, they are 1 for 4.
This is big. This is big right here. Marcial's done his
5-1,
best work
offside,
during the man
30
down,
second
the Hopkins
technical foul.
goaltender.
5-1.
I love it. Somebody's yelling from the stands. Every call. That's an obvious call. I mean, he's offsides. There's 7 guys in the offensive end. You still have a fan unhappy. If I didn't laugh, I'd jump out of the booth.
These are big.
We've seen Colin Campbell with good looks. And Tucker Brown, Levi Anderson, they're just playing on that left side. That's the way they want. Tucker Brown, Marcial, played a high crease, made a nice save. Blue Jays hold. 8 saves on the game for Tim Marcial.
Not the biggest cat in the world, and you called it, Dixie. He was really high on his arc from that mid-range shot. Great look if this is successful. And it's not.
Zulik with a long pass. Melendez looked like he may have actually lost it in the sun a little bit. Rolls out of bounds. 18th turnover for Hopkins. 6:50 left to go.
Back to even strength.
That's a nice dodge on the wing there. Getting out of pressure and clearing the ball successfully for St. Joe. That's Zach Manti, graduate student out of Calgary, Alberta. This is Dwyer, the big boy.
He's playing a nice game. He's a danger.
Good feet up top. Tucker Brown again. Gets the shorty matchup. Big boy dodge. Nice check by Brett Martin. Little slap check, dislodges the ball. Carson Brown picks it up.
Look at the scrapping. Look at the scrapping. Who's
Watch
your buddy?
Boom.
Who's your buddy? Wow. That's a hospital pass.
St. Joe's is able to pick it up. Levi Anderson gets underneath. Shot. Marcial again. That high crease comes out. Snuffs the shot.
Wow, behind the play, he got tattooed high and late. This game is off the rails, Dixie.
It is high energy, up and down.
I don't know where to start. That was the definition of a buddy pass. Throw it as high and loop it like a rainbow, and have your player catch it right at the midfield line where the defense can legally crush them.
And with a running start
with a
as
running
well.
start.
Tim Marcial with 9 saves. St. Joe's back on the offense. 5:10 left to go in the game.
That's like a no crossing zone. Any pass you make over a midfield line, you've got to be careful with.
Got to put that thing on a rope. Got to hit him in stride.
And who was it, Martin, who caught it? It's got to catch it coming back.
Yeah. Shot goes out of bounds. Marcial wins the race to the end line. Possession to the Blue Jays.
Here comes a 10-man ride, empty net for the Hawks.
Yeah, Sealy has vacated the crease. Marseille scored a goal against Carolina.
Collison's looking deep.
Dylan Bauer, he's going to get quadruple team. Now he's triple team. Loses the ball.
That's
ball
off
rolls
White.
out of bounds off his foot.
That's off White's foot.
Referees converging. Illegal procedure call against Hopkins. Ball's over to St. Joe's.
You know, it'll be interesting on Tuesday when the Cavaliers, Virginia shows up here. It's a 4 o'clock face-off on ESPN+. The way Virginia rides.
Yeah.
How's Hopkins going to clear the ball? That was a game last season that was not close, never close, a complete blowout. I expect it to be a better tilt this season. 21
turnovers for Hopkins. Yeah, and Richmond playing a late game tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Virginia against Richmond
Saturday
late game
night.
tonight.
Chris Cotter, Paul Carcaterra, Kyle Harrison will be here for that one. Again, it's Tuesday, 4 o'clock on ESPN+. Good one. Virginia, Hopkins, glad to see them continue that rivalry for the Doyle-Smith Cup.
Oh, absolutely. Always a pleasure when the Cavaliers and the Blue Jays tangle. That Tuesday night game, Schellenberger, Cormier.
Got a broken stick and no cross-check call.
Here we go. 6-on-5 right now for St. Joe's. They kept possession on the takedown. It was a hold in the middle of the field. Carter Page testing this Blue Jay defense. 3:44 left to go. Tucker Brown, you mentioned this really isn't his game, but he's trying to get some separation. Draws a double. Flag flies. This is Dwyer. Steps in. He's doubled quickly. Nice job by Hopkins to prevent the big man from getting the shot off. And we have got another flag, and it's going to be a slash against Johns Hopkins.
Off ball, I believe. The time is now for St. Joe's to find something on this extra man, because all of a sudden, after a scoring, after a scoring spree, all of a sudden hit like a defensive pocket in this game. Now, if you're St. Joe's, the good news is your face-off man, Zach Cole, is capable of
giving you quick possessions, repeated possessions.
So a 3-goal margin with 3 to go
is not insurmountable.
But their extra man, my issue with it right now, they'll start in a circle. They're gonna cut out of this circle. Their splits are so wide. They're not really stepping in and being a threat. And so Hopkins has just kept it in their 5-man zone, and it's kept it very simplistic. Step in with the ball and be a threat. Draw the man. Extra man is a draw and dump game.
St. Joe's is 1 for 5. They're 0 for the last 4. Can they get it done here? They like that lefty shot. Marseille is there. Levi Anderson, rebound, redirects it, score. Excuse me, that might be Colin Campbell for the Hawks. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Colin Campbell with the garbage goal, a huge one for St. Joe's.
Marseille taking a look at the video board. St. Joe's Nation rejoices on the far side. They got an amazing student section and fan support in West Philly, but the rebound, Marseille, big stop right there, rebound in front. Good hands.
I guess if you're Duronsky, you got to clean that up. You got to take body on this one.
I think it was Colin Campbell, the freshman.
Campbell with the shot.
He and Trey Ika seeing some time on the extra man.
Can Zach Cole work his magic? Wins that face-off. Pins it against his chest. No call.
That's where he's really good. Really good off the ground. Amazing exits. He was going to flick it to his teammate, but he read the wingman and decided to scoop it himself.
Really smart decision. And the first-time grounders are so important, not just for like the but face-off men too.
First-time grounders, because time is not on their side. It takes a, you get 2 seconds if you're a face-off man before you're going to get blown up.
Absolutely.
Well, here we go, Dixie. This is critical.
This is what we wanted, right? Down to the wire, 15-13. St. Joe's, 1 timeout remaining. Hopkins also has 1. Raposo on the defense.
Standing around. St. Joe's needs to move without the ball. Couple cuts.
Feet inside, should be dodge inside, and it's goal. Great individual effort by the Hawks. Tim Marseille is saying he was in the crease. The officials saying no dice. And it's William King with the goal. Tiptoe through the tulips. Stays out of the crease. And this is a 1-goal game once again.
Watch the wing dodge, and he'll get underneath. Defense holds, little twister shot, and he stays out of the crease. Again, short stick matchup. You got to go now and help. Marseille can't track it. And King, the junior from Columbia, South Carolina.
This is big time face-off right here. We're going to have a call. It's a hold against Cole. Possession to Hopkins.
What I tell you about 10 minutes ago about the score, Dixie, if Hopkins stays on 15, they're going to make this game sketchy.
Karnak's got nothing on you.
70 to go on the shot clock, 2 minutes to go in the game. You got to score a goal.
Big time.
If you're the Blue Jays.
St. Joe's has scored 7 goals here in the fourth
You can't
quarter.
run and hide right here. You're still on go mode.
Who you thinking for Hopkins?
Angelo's been the key trigger man. Nice stop.
Degnan with a rip.
Now
Sealy read it low, and a reset on the shot clock goes back to 60.
They pick up 14 seconds on that exchange.
So 1:40 left in the game.
Timeouts, one apiece.
Yep. And Peter Milliman obviously will use that if his player gets in trouble, but really no need to call it.
You better have some field balance right here if you're Hopkins, because if you do turn it over, you don't want to give him a run out.
Grimes, Bauer, Cullison, the midfield for the Jays. Popek, who's had a whale of a game on Brendan Grimes. The long stick for St. Joe's.
Coming back to his left.
25 seconds on the shot clock for Hopkins. Cullison, little hitch. Switches to the right hand. Sealy goes low and makes the save. Ground ball picked up by the Hawks.
Easy stop, easy stop. Hawks, 50 seconds to tie this baby.
Verch with the cross-field pass.
8 seconds to clear.
Manti runs it across. Head of steam. Look for the timeout. Not taken by Taylor Ray. There it is. With 34 seconds left in the game, St. Joe's spends their last
lead. St. Joe came back 6-6. Jays extended it. I mean, at 12-7, you thought this baby was over late third quarter. And then we had just a scoring spree. And on the other side of it, St. Joe's clawed within 2.
And the goalies have stepped up here in the fourth quarter. Sealy with 2 saves on that last Hopkins possession. Tim Marseille, does he have 1 or 2 left in him?
They go to Dwyer off the timeout. The big man he's been a threat with the ball on his cross.
Dwyer on Martin. Martin goes over the head. Ball's on the ground. Great check from Brett Martin. Picked up by the Blue Jays. It's Hunter Juronski running for his life out of the defensive end. Turns around. Good play. 15 seconds to clear for Hopkins. 12 seconds left in the game.
10 to clear.
Scott Smith with the offering, the shot on Cage, and Hopkins wisely backs it up. Quick restart.
St. Joe's out of timeouts.
Angelos wanted that quick restart because
just run for safety and send it up in the air.
And that's exactly what Angelos does. And the Hopkins faithful enjoy